beautiful people. Today is the day you become a real developer. Now, that's not true. You become a real developer once you touch a keyboard and write "Hello World," even if it is in Carol the Robot. Does anybody remember Carol the Robot? I think I'm too old. I'm 30. Do I look 30? So I don't have coffee, but I have water. So we're going to start doing the meat of all of this. What is that? The rendering of, for people who thinks that I'm on bed, I'm kinda on bed, but I have something for my back so I don't get like a shrimp, and also something for the computer so I have all sets here like an obese person. So I'm not on bed. Shut up. Yeah, we're going to finally do a map and iterate and show images. I had this idea of taking the top YouTubers of the world, and this is what ChatGPT gave me. This is not my list. This is the list from ChatGPT. And also it behaves weirdly because some things don't appear. But okay, let's start. Let's start by creating a component called YouTuber. YouTuber.tsx. Okay, so there it is. So const YouTuber is equals to a return of a fragment, and we are going to export it just like that. Export. Okay, so now we have our component YouTuber, which is already imported here. I don't see why it isn't being imported. No, it is being imported. Wait, a message. It is being imported, but we are not using it. So what's wrong with you, dude? So YouTuber. Okay. So let's do some CSS for the component YouTuber. I'm gonna use. There are two ways to do CSS on React. One is using super CSS, SCSS, and the other one is using the conventional CSS. There are more and more people every day that uses CSS, plain CSS, because it has been implementing a lot of things that super CSS implements, like nesting and blah blah blah. But you're still going to be required to know super CSS. So I advise you to use it. Hell, let's use it here. Let's use CSS Modules. Okay. So let's create By the way, this is a very bad practice. If you have a component, it needs its own folder. So let's give it a folder. Let's give it a folder on CRT. It's going to be YouTuber, the component YouTuber, and goes there. It will import. It will update the import. And here we're going to have a super CSS file, and it's going to be a module, and you're gonna see why. So YouTuber dot module dot CSS. I think I wrote it wrong. YouTuber, and we are going to import it in YouTuber, but this is the way to import it as a module. Import styles from YouTuber YouTuber model CSS. And you will say, why? Well, the reason for using modules like this and super CSS, as it is SCSS, that means super CSS, I think, and it is called SAS. And there's the competition that is called less, but both with two S. So yeah, the reason for using this is going to be very clear once we start using it. So let's go and use it. I first want a wrapper, so I'm gonna do a div class name. You know why we call this class names and not classes? That is an interview question. Because we can create class, and this extends from some father. So class is a reserved word. It cannot be used as other thing than classes. So that's why it is class name. And in order to give class names to our objects, to our, they are document object. What is the document object? What's the M? Document object. Document object something. Document object model. I don't know. So this is going to be the wrapper, and we're going to assign the style by a module style. This is going to be YouTube JT wrapper. Okay, and we're going to create very normal JT wrapper, and we're going to do a background, and I want the background to be some sort of a gradient. So gradient, radial, I don't know if radial or just linear gradient. This is not gradient, linear gradient, and we're going to start by a red to a red, but this is going to be less. So now we have the wrapper, and the wrapper is not showing probably because it has nothing. And here's a little trick: you can use this special way to call it, and it is not working. Let's see what are we doing wrong. YouTube wrapper, background. What about the height? So it is not working because I'm doing something stupid, I'm pretty sure. So styles, YouTube wrapper. So we are importing styles from YouTube module CSS. So we have the wrapper here. Is it named the same as this? Yes, it is. So let's see what's happening in the DOM. Root has nothing. Oh, you know what? We need to print to render, sorry, the YouTuber. To render the YouTuber. No, wait, we are rendering the YouTuber, but we're rendering it here. Yeah, it was like stale. This file was stale. So we have this for the wrapper, and we assign the style this way. You're gonna be like, why do we need to assign them this way? Well, when you look at the DOM, you see the class, and look at that. What is the class? It is wrapper and then 1G50C1. Why this? So you can use the same names for your classes and still don't crash. That's the reason for using React modules and classes. So that's the big reason for using style.YouTube wrapper. Okay. So let's give it a little bit more life, like this. Okay, and then I want an avatar, and I asked for very generic images because it was a mess getting the avatars. So the avatar is going to be, first of all, let's add it. Let's add the avatar. I used to have Emmet, where you do this, and okay, I still have it. I think all of the IDEs come with it. If you use this, for instance, and say ID, this is the ID of my div, and then use Emmet abbreviation, is going to assign the ID. Same thing with the class name. If you do, like, let's see if it does the same with styles dot avatar. No, it doesn't do what we want, but well, it gave us this and this, and we need to remove this. So for the avatar, I'm going just to put the image here, the CRC here, and that's it for an image. Remember, the image closes like this, just like an input, and it needs we are getting to the point that this component is begging for props. is begging for props. So we are very good people and we're gonna give it props. So what props does it need? It needs an avatar. So let's destructure them here. It needs an avatar URL and it needs a name. Let's start with those. So we pass the avatar URL and the avatar URL. Okay, so the avatar URL is coming from the map. So remember, we are going to map from the top YouTubers.map. Remember, you have to be careful with this, because if you use a changer function, a changer array function, that's going to mess up your state. That's going to try to modify your state, to mutate your state, and it's going to fail. So map is fine because it doesn't mutate the state, but if you use sort or something else, be careful. So right now we use the callback, the object, the index, and the array the whole array. I don't think we need that now. And this is going to be any because I don't know exactly what type is going to have the object. With AI, it's very easy to create types, but manually it's a pain in the ass. So just saying. And then this is going to do a return, an explicit return, and we're going to grab the YouTube component here. So now we can use the avatar URL. Okay, so YouTuber is saying that name is missing. Yes, name is missing. So name equals to name. But we're not showing the name, neither the avatar URL. So avatar URL now is being shown, but the name is not. So let's create a div for the name. Styles equals to, no, what are you doing? ClassName equals to styles name, and here we're going to put the name, and this probably needs a refresh because it gets stale. I'm worried about this thing not refreshing automatically. This is saying that we need to give it a type, and we have our first iteration with images and wrappers. Are you proud of yourselves? I hope you are. So the avatar is going to be, this is the container of the avatar. So the height is going to be to rem, and then the avatar, so we are using SCSS, so you can do this, and you can just do image, and the image is going to have a height of 1 rem. Okay, so it's super small, but It's super small, but there is it is small. Let's make it 5. So how should we center this? I am not going into flex today because it's not that hard, but it is kind of predictable. So today we're going to use the basic, like the avatar can have a line height of 2 rem, and then the vertical line is going to be in the middle. So this should be centering the image, if I'm not mistaken. It is probably not happening because of the name. Let's see. No, I'm blaming the name, but the real problem it's me. So the height is 2 rem, the line height is 2 rem, the vertical alignment is middle. So this is not going to work because the container is smaller. So we need an avatar height, like this is 5. Let's give it 6. What about 8? Now you see why backend developers hate CSS. So 8 rem is too much because it's the entire wrapper, but I want to see what avatar has. It's important to check manually what's happening. Like the avatar is crazy. For instance, the avatar is going off the rails by being like that. So what if we do 100%, and then the avatar is going to be like that.